Not too long ago, I was talking with a friend of mine who was going through menopause, and she shared this moment that really stuck with me. She was standing in her kitchen looking for her keys, which is something that we've all done, except this time she couldn't remember why she needed them. So there she is, after she found them, holding onto her keys, giving some thought to why it was that she was searching for them in the first place. And the next thing she noticed was that her heart started racing, she felt very overwhelmed, and suddenly she was on the verge of tears, all over these misplaced keys. She was having an anxiety attack of sorts. What hit her hardest wasn't the forgetfulness, it was the wave of stress and anxiety that followed. Logically, she knew that the key situation didn't warrant that type of emotional response, and she wasn't particularly worked up about looking for her keys and ultimately remembered why she needed them fairly quickly, but that momentary lapse in remembering what the heck she needed them for in the first place resulted in a very strong physical response for her. And that's when she realized this wasn't just an ordinary stressful moment. It was a real side effect, she believed, of her menopause journey. Now, memory can certainly be affected through menopause and beyond, but for now, I'm going to stick with stress and our hormones and how these two get a little tricky as we wade through this chunk of life, and why the little things can feel so much bigger than what they really are. I'm going to dive into how menopause affects our stress levels, and more importantly, what we can do about stress from a nutrition and lifestyle perspective. By the end of this video, I want to give you a few small things that you can do in your day-to-day life that could make a big and helpful impact if you stick with them. And I'm going to share a few things that you may be doing right now that you need to pump the brakes on too. In case we haven't met, my name is Tracy D. Mitchell. I'm a board-certified Mayo Clinic health and wellness coach, and I'm the author of the book, The Belly Burn Plan. I hold a master's degree in health and nutrition education, and for the last 20 years, I've been helping women like you live their healthiest life. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get regular video updates, each created with your health in mind. All right, back to stress and menopause. Menopause is that time in every woman's life when a couple of very important hormones decide to throw a retirement party, complete with hot flashes, mood swings, and a total break from monthly cycles. And even though the main function of these hormones might be complete on the reproductive side, other hormones start to pick up the slack with a whole new set of surprises to keep things really interesting. It's like a learning curve for a brand new job. That is, a brand new job with no onboarding manual created for each and every one of us out there. Now, I would love to say, just try to relax and things will work out, but of course, I can't say that. It's not that simple. That would be a complete lie. Hormones are going to change the way that you operate to some extent, but much of you will in fact be the same person. So rather than fighting the changes happening in your body, try to work with them first by understanding what's actually going on, then try to take steps to deal with them. I strongly believe that we should all be active participants in working with these hormonal changes and our health. Midlife stress related to menopause can look very different from woman to woman, but we all have stress. All people do. And that stress tends to get ratcheted up a notch or two or three through menopause. So why do these moments of intense stress happen, and what can we do about them? For starters, let's address the elephants in the room. A big reason this shift in stress is happening in your life is because of the drop of estrogen and progesterone. Now, all of your hormones sit in homeostasis, or a balance with one another. All of them do. So when two very important hormones start to flatline, they have the ability to affect many, many other hormones too. It's this swift shift in hormones that causes all of these effects. From a physiological perspective, aside from helping to manage reproduction, estrogen plays a role in regulating mood and anxiety. As estrogen levels drop, it can make your body feel more sensitive to stress, increasing the likelihood of those intense moments of anxiety. With less estrogen, we're potentially much less resilient to this. Another hormone that's profoundly affected through menopause is progesterone. Progesterone also helps to stimulate the production of GABA, a neurotransmitter that helps to reduce the excitability of your neurons or your brain cells, and it helps to keep us more relaxed. Adding these up, menopause creates a hormonal environment where it's more challenging to deal with mood, anxiety, and those stressful situations. It can also be harder to relax. If you think back to your pre-menopause years, the ups and downs of these two hormones through your cycle may have created fluctuations in mood and sleep. This is not uncommon. After menopause, without nearly as much of these two hormones, we just don't have the same environment to cope with these stressors, even the small stuff, the way that we used to. But not everyone develops severe anxiety over a minor moment of forgetfulness. Other factors also contribute to stress as well, including body satisfaction. Our bodies tend to change a lot through menopause and the years after. Sleep disruptions too can really throw a wrench into things. Even the best planned days can be really thrown off. Life transitions that have nothing to do with our body's hormones can affect us. Kids leave home or parents are getting older, and that can add a significant amount of stress. So how can you turn the amplification of stress in your life down so it's more manageable and not as obtrusive? Here are a few things that you can do right now. Now remember, none of these things are going to offer you an overnight fix. You have to adopt these tips as things that you can do a majority of the time. You don't have to be perfect. Just aim to hit the mark most of the time. Now I'm gonna start on the food side with what you should get more of in your diet. So this list could be a lot bigger, but I'm going to limit it to 3 very important things. Number 1, eat more foods that contain magnesium. Magnesium-rich foods help to increase GABA in your brain, and GABA is that neurotransmitter that I talked about earlier. Over time, this will help improve relaxation. These foods are also just very good for you. So a few of these foods that you can eat that have magnesium include almonds, avocados, spinach, pumpkin seeds, and a little bit of dark chocolate too. Number 2, get some berries in your diet, fresh or frozen. Berries possess very potent antioxidants that can help to reduce inflammation that can very much affect your brain too. Try to eat these daily. Blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, raspberries, all of them. It's not hard to do. Again, buy them in whole food form, fresh or frozen, and eat them liberally. They're also a really good source of fiber, which will aid in better digestion too. Number 3, get more omega-3 fatty acids in your diet and try to get those omega-3s from whole food form if possible. These include ground flax seeds. You can add a couple of tablespoons to smoothies or to oatmeal in the morning, walnuts, chia seeds, fatty fish like salmon. Our brains like to swallow up omega-3 fatty acids because they're so badly needed. And once they're absorbed, those omega-3s help to fight inflammation and also improve dopamine signaling. Dopamine is your feel-good neurotransmitter. It's just more balanced with an appropriate amount of omega-3 fatty acids. So those are a few small things that you can start doing right now to help alleviate stress a little bit in your life. Get more magnesium in your diet, eat more antioxidant-rich berries, and get more omega-3 fatty acids as well. As you bring in the good stuff, it's time to say goodbye to some of the bad stuff too, the stuff that's increasing stress in your life. Here are a few things that you can be watchful of right now that will greatly improve stress in your life. Number 1, curb caffeine to 9 a.m. I always say this, but curbing caffeine to mid-morning will help keep your body's cortisol levels in check. Cortisol is your body's stress hormone, and when you drink caffeine, you artificially inflate cortisol. Your body's natural cortisol levels usually peak about an hour to 90 minutes after you wake up. This is typically the window to drink a small amount of caffeine if you're going to drink it at all. Avoid drinking caffeine later in the day. It will just amp you up and likely disrupt your precious sleep schedule too, which is something that is a pretty hot commodity. And if you're prone to hot flashes, curbing caffeine has also been shown to reduce hot flashes. Another thing you can do right now is to cut out refined sugars. I'm not talking about fruit, rather sugar that's added to the foods that you may already be eating. This could be the hardest thing to overcome as sugar is pretty addictive, but after a week or 2 or 3, you'll really start to notice the difference. Excess added sugar consumption can create a disruption in our body's serotonin and dopamine production and function. People who eat lots of sugar generally feel worse than those who don't. From a stress management angle, disrupted serotonin and dopamine don't help at all. Also, and this is important for all of us menopausal women, but added sugar throws off blood sugars and insulin levels, which down the road can lead to insulin resistance or more serious conditions like diabetes and heart conditions. Try to keep added sugars to 24 grams a day. This is the upper limit of what the American Heart Association recommends that women consume daily. So do a little experiment with yourself over the next few days. Try to add up the grams of sugar that you're eating daily. Almost every added sugar comes in package with nutrition facts on it. Added sugars is under the carbohydrate category. Jot down how much sugar you're eating each day. It might be a real eye-opener. Work to reduce down to 24 grams or less. And the last thing that you should try to do is to make a habit of turning off your screens an hour to 90 minutes before bed. The screens on our phones, our tablets, or laptops emit blue light that blocks melatonin from being released. Melatonin is the hormone released from the pineal gland of your brain that helps you feel tired and get to sleep. A lack of proper sleep is a chief complaint that I hear from my clients when we start working together. I probably don't need to tell you that sleep disruption puts your body on the fast track to a stressful morning the next day. So here's a recap of everything. Do add more magnesium-rich foods into your diet. Do eat more antioxidant berries. Do get more omega-3 fatty acids in your diet as well. Those are the 3 do's. The don'ts: don't drink caffeine after 9 a.m. Don't eat more than 24 grams of sugar each day. And don't keep your screens in front of your face 90 minutes or less before bed. I hope you found this video helpful, and I've linked to a couple of other videos that you might find helpful as well in the description below. If you're curious about a subject related to menopause and how it's affecting your lifestyle and you want to see a video about it, go ahead and leave the suggestion in the comments below, or any questions that you may have as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe to stay in the know on all things that can help you through menopause and beyond. Thanks for showing up.